India-Poland diplomatic tensions rise over terrorism and Russia-Ukraine war. New Delhi witnessed a tense diplomatic exchange on Monday as External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and visiting Polish Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Radoslaw Sikorski sparred over terrorism, regional security, and the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The discussions, held against a backdrop of growing strain in India-Poland relations, highlighted differences on key global and regional issues. Jaishankar opened the talks with a firm message to Warsaw, emphasizing that Poland must maintain zero tolerance for terrorism and must not support or help fuel terrorist infrastructure in India's neighbourhood. The Indian minister's remarks reflected New Delhi's unease over Poland's visit to Pakistan in October last year, where Kashmir was discussed alongside the Ukraine crisis. India has long maintained that Jammu and Kashmir is a strictly bilateral issue, and any third country involvement is unacceptable. Sikorski, who has extensive experience as a war correspondent in Afghanistan, acknowledged India's concerns but pivoted to Europe's perspective, stressing that India's participation in the Russia-led Jhaipur 2025 military exercises in Belarus was threatening. He said that Warsaw expected India, as a leading voice of the global South, to take a stronger moral stance on the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. He framed the conflict as a colonial war, highlighting Russia's attempts to reassert control over Ukraine, which he referred to as a former colony under Tsarist and Soviet rule, calling such acts completely unacceptable. The exchange grew more awkward when Sikorski was asked about India's concerns regarding cross-border terrorism emanating from Pakistan. Visibly uncomfortable, the Polish minister declined to comment and walked away, cutting the interaction short. This incident underscored the sensitivity in bilateral relations, especially following Poland's previous statements on Kashmir. Despite these tensions, both sides agreed on one point: the need to condemn transnational terrorism. Sikorski noted Poland had faced sabotage attacks on its railway infrastructure and other terrorist incidents, while Jaishankar referred to selective targeting of India, not only in terms of security, but also economically, citing unfair US tariffs on Indian goods related to energy ties with Russia. Both ministers acknowledged that such targeted economic measures risk global trade instability. The conversation also touched on the broader geopolitical stage. Sikorski defended sanctions on Russia for its invasion of Ukraine, pointing to violations of the Budapest Memorandum, border treaties, and the UN Charter. Meanwhile, Jaishankar reiterated India's consistent international position on Ukraine and emphasized that selective moralizing against India was unjustified. Consequences and opportunities. Monday's meeting signals both risks and potential gains for India. On the consequences side, tensions with Poland could slow cooperation on trade, technology, and defense, while disagreements over Kashmir and India's Russia ties may encourage other European countries to take similar positions. There is also a risk of economic friction and skepticism over India's role in global conflicts, which could affect its image as a leader of the global South. However, there are clear opportunities as well. India can assert its strategic messaging on terrorism, sovereignty, and economic fairness, reinforcing its global standing. Diplomatic engagement with Poland can continue on trade and defense despite disagreements, while India positions itself as a responsible global actor, balancing relations with Europe, Russia, and the global South. Highlighting unfair tariffs and selective targeting also gives India leverage to negotiate more equitable trade arrangements in Europe and beyond. In short, while Monday's exchange exposed the growing sensitivity in India-Poland ties, it also offers India a chance to strengthen its strategic independence, reinforce its counter-terrorism stance, and shape international narratives in its favor.